the helium story in Amarillo. It's light. It goes up and down like a balloon. Most of the community moments revolve around the helium time columns because it brings so much attention to the industry and to what it's meant to Amarillo. In 1968, we had the dedication, which was a big deal, tons of people.
And it was a monumental, excuse the language there, but it was truly something that our community took a lot of pride in.
Dumas, Texas wanted it, Kansas wanted it. And we did get it. The city gave land at the corner of Interstate 40 and T. Anchor Boulevard for the initial spot. And that was one of the reasons why we got it here, was because of the tourist aspect, that people on I-40 would see it and stop and learn about helium. The three time columns, or the three legs of the column, were to be opened in 25, 50, and 100 years. And the upright spire in 1,000 years.
You know, originally it was located over on I-40, where I believe it's where the Quarter Horse Museum is now, and then they moved it over here. But it absolutely, you know, that one event was big for our community and really kind of put us on the map in our industry.
I was born into the helium industry. My father started buying and selling helium here in Amarillo in 1946. The office was in the house, so you know we had the customers and vendors were always coming to the house, and my mother would cook dinner for them, and they would have a scotch with my dad and complete their business. It wasn't unusual for me to come home from school and find elephants watering in the backyard because the carnival, you know, the circus is coming through town, or the fair guys were coming through town, and they would drop off their empty helium cylinders and pick up full ones. He developed and patented what is now called the jumbo helium tube trailer. So he hired a kid named Bill Peel out of West Texas Teachers College at the time, probably, to start up a test facility and to build trailers.
My father, Bill Peel, went to the Army, and while he was in the Army, he worked with high-pressure cylinders and high-pressure gas. So when he came back to Amarillo after his duty to the service, he worked at a local welding shop, and then partnered with Jack B. Kelly. There's a lot of pride in working in a business that your dad started and that you've grown up in and you've been a part of, and it just becomes part of your DNA. It's a great opportunity, and helium gave us that opportunity, but I remember my dad working very hard. I remember that we would go up on the weekends, and our whole family would work.
The vice presidents from U.S. Steel would come in to sell him the cylinders, and one time, at the same time, one of those the carnival guys came in, and he had a good run at the Mardi Gras down in New Orleans, and he wanted to pay his bill, and he had a suitcase full of cash from his deal, and he said, "Jack, I want to pay you what I owe you," and he dumps the suitcase in the floor, and the vice presidents from U.S. Steel take their ties off and get down on the floor and start counting the cash so the guy could pay his bill.
I still work in the business, and we're still manufacturing and retesting helium trailers. It's what pays my bills and gives me, and now we have a third generation now, gives all of us a lot of satisfaction in providing a product and a service that is valuable and is used all over the world. Now helium, I don't know if you know, but helium is one of it's a very expensive gas.
You've seen helium, the value of helium go really through the roof in the past 10 or 15 years. The economics of producing helium are really tied to the economics of producing the rest of the natural gas stream. So as we continue to deplete the fields that are up here, you're going to see less and less that comes out of this area. You're going to have to go find new areas.
The next generation, our generation, needs to remember that this is a finite resource. All of Earth's resources are finite, and so we have to steward what we have been given.
Helium is becoming more rare, and therefore it's more expensive. So it is something that we're going to have to be careful with how we use, and be mindful, and just be good stewards of our planet.
It's such a unique, special element, and it does so much for our entire world, for the products that it's being used for. And the fact that this was the area that really kicked off the revolution and the ability to go use helium and to take it to market makes Amarillo a really unique place.
It's such a rare element, and they're not making any more of it.
It is still something that I think that our community can value and place in a historical part of their mind.